Did you know that according to Pew Research Center, 37% of people have never moved outside of their hometown? Even crazier than that, only 14% of people have lived in 4 or more states. Well, I've lived in 4 states and 7 different cities, and here are 7 different lessons I've learned living in 7 different cities. Let's dive right in. So for those of you that are curious and want to know what the cities are, I've lived in Laramie, Wyoming, Logan, Utah, Salt Lake City, Tucson, Arizona, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Bozeman, Montana, and now Charleston, South Carolina. Lesson number 1, you can't grow in a bubble. This is one of my favorite quotes in my life because it is undeniably true. It is 1000% true. It has been true, consistent truth across every experience I've ever had in my life. You 1000% cannot grow in a bubble. So like when I go back to my hometown and I meet people who have never left that town in a very long time, it's very apparent that there's a very huge lack of growth that happens with them. The first thing I think of is, I'm not sure if you've ever seen that like meme of an ostrich burying its head in the sand, thinking that it's like safe from predators. It's kind of like the whole like ignorance is bliss, but it's also like by choosing to stay where you feel safe, you are lacking growth and experiences in a lot of other aspects of your life. I'm very grateful that I have left my hometown and that I have moved as much as I have because I've got to experience a lot of different culture, art, and make friends all over the United States that I never would have met if I stayed in my hometown. A quote I really like for this lesson is, growth begins where comfort ends. The bubble might protect you, but it also traps you. Lesson number 2, there is no such thing as a perfect place. Or perfect city. So I've lived in a few transient cities, transient meaning that there's a lot of people that move in and out of those cities in a quick time frame, like college, like people going to college, or just places that are really popular to go experience, but they're expensive. 2 really good examples are Bozeman, Montana, and Charleston, South Carolina. And something that kind of surprises me is I hear people say that they're trying to find like this perfect place, and that's something that has come up in conversations with strangers that I have at bars and stuff all the time. And I think what I've learned from it, and definitely from living everywhere, is that there's like pros and cons to everywhere you move. Like there's really not going to be a perfect place for everyone. I really think it comes down to your personality and what you value. And I also think that what stage of life you're in has a big role to play with that as well. Lesson number 3 is that unexpected bad things are going to happen to you, but unexpected good things will also happen. So out of all the times I moved, I usually had a job lined up, but there were some situations where the job fell through. When I moved, I always tried to have a good amount of savings in my account though. And no matter how much money I had in my account, there were 3 times that I could think of where my savings literally was running out. And I was stressed to the max, applying to a shitload of jobs, and I always managed to get a job right before my last check went through. By far, the scariest part of this for me was when I moved to Bozeman, Montana. I was applying to a ton of different jobs. I had a lot of good sales experience, accounting experience, and marketing experience, but I was really struggling to find a job, and it was incredibly stressful. It literally came down to our apartment had just taken the last money I had in my savings, and that next week I had signed for my new job at Viral Hog. There is no doubt that moving is hard. Moving is very, very difficult. There's a lot of things that go through it, but you grow through those hardships, and it's really hard to challenge yourself when you don't put yourself in a position to grow. Another little side thing for me, just with all these moves and stuff I've had, I used to be fairly atheist because I was raised Mormon, and there's been multiple times that I have seen throughout my life where it comes down to like the wire or like the last second, and then something good happens. And that's not always the case for everyone, but that is something that I have found in my life and something that I do believe to be true. If you really want to do something, a path will open up for you. It might not be the path that you want to take or the most ideal path, but there will be a path, and normally there are lessons in that path. And that brings me to lesson number 4, which is, if you're not finding the right people, attract the right people. Now this one can be scary for people who aren't naturally extroverted. For me, I am very, very extroverted. I don't have hardly any troubles whatsoever bringing up a conversation with strangers at a bar. But something that I did learn when I moved to Charleston, there was a point in time where it was very difficult for me to like make friends. I had gone through a breakup, and I had been alone in a city where I did have some friends at work and stuff, but I hadn't really found my people yet. And that always takes time, and you will find your people. It takes time. It normally takes like at least a year or 2, but you will find your people. And I was just going through this phase of kind of hardship, but I do believe that this was like a sign for me to take the time to be alone in this unexpected place, to figure my shit out. I say attract the right people because when you do figure out who you are and what you like, that is a process. You will meet the people you're meant to be friends with through that process. So it's just a matter of like going out and actually doing your hobbies. Something I also did a lot, and I feel like this helped me grow a lot personally, was I would go do things alone, completely alone. I'd go eat dinners alone. I would go sit at the bar alone. I'd go to sports alone. I'd go golfing alone. I'd go play pickleball. Whatever it was, I would do it alone. And I have found that by doing those things alone, it really helped me determine whether or not I like them. And I think a lot of people struggle with that because they're afraid of judgment or what other people think. But you just have to like get over that, because realistically, most people don't actually give a shit. You might think they do in the moment, but I guarantee you that person probably like went home and didn't think about you the rest of the night. Like, I think that we tend to like overplay other people's perceptions of us. But by going through that process and trying things alone, and as you learn more about yourself through that process, you will naturally meet other people who are like you, and that's kind of how really beautiful friendships can start to develop. I would also add to this that if you're going out of your way to make friendships work and it doesn't feel like that energy is reciprocated, it is 1000% worth it to just sit at home alone, protect your energy until you find people that reciprocate the energy you're giving to them. Lesson number 5, this one's a little bit more specific to me, but I do think there's a lot of value in this. It kind of does tie into point 4. But in my opinion, one of the best ways to make friends and meet people like you is music. If there's like a bar that plays a certain kind of music you like, or if there are big artists coming into town that you like, or if there are artists coming to the city or a city by you that you like, it can be really worth it to go out to it. Because obviously the fact that you both like that kind of music already means you have something in common, and it's easier to strike up conversations in that environment because people are normally excited to be there. So for me specifically, I really like EDM music. And I've gone to a lot of different EDM shows, and that's how I've met some of my best friends by far. But it doesn't matter what kind of music you like, if it's country, rock, metal, whatever it is. Figure out like where those types of shows are being played, and I'm very confident that you will be able to find and make friends at those places. Lesson number 6, adaptability and learning new skills brings stability. I think life has a funny way of challenging you, and that's very apparent when you move to a new state or city. By far, one of the best skills I think I've learned, and one that will continue to be beneficial throughout my life, is being adaptable to situations and being willing to learn new things. Because I have ADHD, I believe I am a naturally more curious person. I also do have a curious mindset, so those are benefits to me. And I know that not everyone is that way. But I do think that if you want to challenge yourself and learn more about yourself, you should go out there and try to do these things. And it is going to get hard, and it is going to get frustrating at times. That just goes with the territory of putting yourself outside of that bubble of comfort. But I feel like that's the lesson that you need to learn. And like once you learn that lesson, I think you'll also see, like I've seen in my life, that a lot of doors tend to open up in the ways that you wanted them to. It's just a matter of dropping your ego, learning new things, and adapting to new situations. And lesson number 7 is by far the most important one. Family is the one you create, not the one that you're born into. And I'm not saying this because I have a bad family or anything like that. I actually have a really amazing family. I've been very lucky, fortunate with that in my life. But living in some of these transient cities and talking to a lot of different people all across the United States, I've met a lot of people that unfortunately didn't have a lot of family support or weren't born into very good families. But I do know that as long as you're being true to who you are, the right people will come into your life. I've said this before in previous videos, but I'll say it again in this one. I am nowhere near the person I am today if it wasn't for my friends. I have been very fortunate to make friends literally all across the United States. And a lot of these friends know me and have seen sides of me that my own family members haven't seen. And they love and accept me for who I am. I have also met a lot of other people, like I mentioned, that didn't have families, and they will tell you the exact same thing. There is nothing more important than community, friendship, and love. And community at times can be inconvenient because there's effort and give and take in it, just like any relationship. But I also truly believe from like the bottom of my heart that it is one of the most important aspects of life. And as I've moved so much and experienced all of these different things and cities and people, that continues to become more and more apparent. Luckily technology has made it easy to keep in contact with all of these friends, and I do get to go see them, which is awesome. It's really cool because I like to travel, and when because I have a lot of friends in a lot of different cities, I get to use something called the Homie Hotel. So normally my friends let me crash on their couch or in their extra bedroom, and it makes traveling really affordable. And it's also really cool to get to like follow them to their new cities and experience their lives. So if you're the type of person who wants to experience a new place but you're too scared to do it, I would definitely say come up with a plan. I think one of the most important parts of that plan is going to be having a job lined up, and just know that you're going to be put in situations that are very, very difficult, and they will challenge you. They will bring you to your knees, and sometimes you will cry. But a person's true character isn't tested inside of a bubble. It's how they grow through challenging situations. I'm going to do a little selfish plug really quick because I know that some of you guys know about my experience at Viral Hog. After I left Viral Hog, I ended up getting a director of marketing position for the #1 realtor for Keller Williams here in Charleston, South Carolina. And we have started a real estate team. So if you or anyone you know is looking to buy a house anywhere in the United States, we have a network of agents through Keller Williams that we could hook you up with to ensure that you get a good agent. But on top of that, I love Charleston very, very much. If you haven't been, you should come see it, check it out. And if you love the area and you're looking to move here and you want to know which neighborhood to move to, or like where you can find homes underneath the median sales price, we can definitely help you with that. Please feel free to leave any of your traveling stories or crazy situations that have happened as you've moved or visited new places. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.